Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, we get to hear from Michelle Harris and Edgar Sandoval Rayon about Market Optical, a full-service luxury optical boutique. I'm going to bring them on the screen right now.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for having us.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Edgar. Thanks for carving out some time.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Okay, I've learned a lot in our discussion before going live, so thanks for educating me. I'm so glad we had an opportunity to chat a little bit prior. But you guys have been a member for over a year now, and Michelle, actually, I sat next to you at a business education series. I love your positive mental attitude, your business savviness. And so I'm excited to help share the Market Optical story. Edgar, I don't think I've met you yet, but getting to know you just in the last few minutes, I can tell why you two work so well together.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good team here. A small one, but it's a good one.
The dynamic duo. We pick out all the eyewear together, and I always tell people they're getting a little of the best of both because I'm older, obviously a woman, and Edgar's
more classic, refined taste.
Quite a bit younger,
a little crazier,
and a little more like urban streetwear, fashion forward. So between the two of us, absolutely, we cover all demographics, I think. Yeah.
Well, this series of chamber check-ins started in 2020, and we featured over 600 chamber members, and I get to learn so much from speaking with everybody. And I can honestly say this is the first optical member that we featured. So it's unique. One day we'll be talking to a CEO of an agriculture company, and the next day we'll talk to an optical company. So this is really cool. And one of the missions of
yeah. I feel the same way when I go to chamber events and get to huddle with so many different types of businesses. And so I think part of being a member of the chamber and being part of the Boise Chamber is that, yes, we're learning so much about what this Treasure Valley has to offer in every asset of business.
Love it.
And then I use those references to tell my friends and family where they need to go after learning so much about their business. And it's nice to be able to recycle that information that you've just learned so that it sticks. Yeah.
Well, and I always tell prospective businesses that may be joining the chamber, we want to do business with businesses that invest in their community. That's the circle of the life of the chamber.
100%. I believe in reciprocal business. And every time I need something done, whether it's a car issue or a facial, I always go to chamber members first.
That's awesome. There's a few chiming in right now. Get them on the screen a little bit.
Hi, Dee.
Okay. Hey, I love learning about the businesses, and we'll get into that. But let's talk about you two first. And in a few minutes, let's talk about a little bit about your backgrounds, kind of your history of work that led you into the optical industry, for lack of a better term. And Edgar, let's start with you first.
I'd be happy to. So I'm newer to this compared to the mentors that I've had, including Michelle here. I was brought onto the team 4 years ago while talks of Market Optical opening were still happening, before the fixtures, as we say. And I was brought in as an apprentice, so someone who had no history in the industry, no knowledge at all. I came on. Like I said, had great mentorship, and I've learned a ton the last 4 years. I actually just recently got a certification through the American Board of Opticianry, which is just this nationally recognized board who basically it means I'm competent, which is it's nice and encouraging to have that. That certificate now, but I also learned a lot in the back of house, when it comes to a lab. So I do the technician work as well. It means that I cut your lenses, and I do all the technical part of it, as well as the fitting and picking out frames. That's where I'm at now. but I've loved it.
To learn more about your role and your experience and expertise. Thanks for that, Edgar. I'm glad you're part of the team. Michelle, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Sure, I'd be happy to talk about myself, but let me expand just a tiny bit on Edgar. It is not required in the state of Idaho to be a certified optician. It is a competency that I feel very responsible about, and I am also ABO certified and have been for quite some time. But we're giving people glasses that they're out there driving on the same streets as you. And I just helped a radiologist who's looking at x-rays that are helping diagnose, all kinds of pathology. So when we're sending people out into the world, whether they're driving on the same roads as you or whether they're looking at your important test results, it is vital for us to know what we're doing. And so I want to commend Edgar on accepting the challenge that we gave him, which is to be certified, because it is not required to do what we do. So that being said, yes, we're both certified opticians here, which is unique and rare to have both primary opticians be certified. And I've been doing this for a little over 30 years. I was recruited by Market Optical because they wanted somebody that had established relationships in the optical community. When I started in 1989, I knew every doctor in town and had relationships with all opticians that I talked to over the phone for prescriptions, that kind of thing. Now that's not possible. There are so many more opticians. We've grown exponentially in population. So of course our optical world is growing as well. But I will say that it's been kind of my goal this year to host trainings, not just for my team, but for other opticians as well. So in June, I realized having a Maui Gym educator come in and gave training to almost 40 opticians. We held an event here in the village. And so I have to tell you, that was a career highlight for me to be able to offer that kind of education just right here in the Treasure Valley, because it doesn't happen all the time. And then to build those relationships with new doctors as well, we held a similar event here at the village in July, so back to back. And we actually had a certified optoplastic surgeon come in and talk to us about eye surgeries. And so, like you learning about the optical field, we learned so much about eye surgeries. And this man is in our community, Dr. Lengold, who is John Hopkins trained, taught at Yale. He is amazing and just so professional and accessible, though. He's like funny and quirky. And so it's really lovely, again, that we're growing, because our talent pool is growing exponentially as well. So I, like Edgar, was brought on right when Market Optical opened 4 years ago. And so we've kind of been the dynamic duo ever since, and we've expanded, and we have 2 part-timers now as well. And they're great.
Just as I suspected, Michelle, as a true leader, you didn't talk about yourself. You talked about your team, and you talked about the company and the great things that your organization is doing. I love it. I love it.
It's true.
Sorry, not sorry.
Okay. Luxury boutique optical. I learned that today. I had no idea, right? I've got these ones here that, the $12 ones, and helps me out.
No shame.
No shame. But I'm of that age now where my eyesight's starting to deteriorate a little bit. I can't see as clearly as I used to. And I also sit on a leadership council for the Northwest Association for Blind Athletes. And that organization is a chamber member. Shout out to Billy Henry. They're changing lives of people who are visually impaired or blind through sports. And so I just had to say that really quick, because I know that organizations like yours do impact the lives of those that are visually impaired. And I think it's really important. So with that being said, tell me and help me share the history and the origin story of Market Optical, the when, where, how, and why.
Okay, so we started in Pike Place Market. That's where the Market and Market Optical comes from. So Pike Place Market in Seattle, right next to the original Starbucks over 40 years ago.
Wow.
And from that one store, they had employees who wanted to open other stores. And so there became 2 Market Opticals and then 3 Market Opticals in the Seattle area. And they were all kind of co-owned by the original founder. And then in 2019, Jamie Belusic purchased all of the stores. And so there are 3 in the Puget Sound and 1 here in Meridian, Idaho, because like so many people, they've got family members here. Jamie has a sister in Eagle, Idaho, so he would start coming to visit her and realized really quickly that luxury optical didn't really exist, or certainly could be expanded on in the Treasure Valley. And it's funny when you said you didn't even know there was luxury optical. When I tell people we're offering you the best, most recent styles and the highest sustainable quality in the world, we mean it. I'm headed to Paris in a couple weeks, and I get to realize my first European purchase. And I'm going to see glasses from every country in the world at the largest fair in Paris, and bringing them right back here to the Treasure Valley. And so it's very lofty. And when I tell people that, I feel like they think I'm exaggerating. But when I say we have the highest quality, most beautiful styles in the entire world, I mean it. And so that's really what we're founded on, just quality, sustainable, unique eyewear. Our trademark is art for the face. And so Market Optical, no matter where we are, here or in Seattle, all have that commonality. And the culture that was instilled in us is that you can have that and not be pretentious at all. Like I talked to a woman on the phone today, and she's like, "Hey, I'm coming in sweatpants because they're comfy." And I was like, "We take you as you are. There is no judgment here." So we don't want people to think that just because we have the best glasses in the world, they're not attainable, or they have to dress up to walk in our door. Because again, we have the best. And when you have the best, you don't have to be pretentious about it, right?
40 years. And just in the last 4 years have expanded to Idaho. I love it. Thanks for bringing that. Tell the team, thank you for that. Where are you located?
So we're in the village at Meridian. So I always tell people, if you know the chip cookie store here in the village, we're right next door to them. And that's where we've been for the last 4 years. It's a beautiful area.
And some people think there's no parking in the village, but if you park in the Big Al's parking lot, listen,
take a walk.
It's a quick jaunt right inside the breezeway to find us. So
yeah, there's lots of parking there. No problem at all.
Don't be intimidated by the village.
That's right.
Edgar, I want to talk to you for a minute. As a lab technician, this is something I didn't know either, and I want to help share. There is a custom element, and what I think is a not one size fits all, and how you're a luxury boutique. Tell me a little bit about that craftsmanship that goes into taking care of a client and fitting them with the correct pair. Tell us a little bit about that. I had no idea that happens. I just thought it was like, hey, this is what you pick from. But tell us about that.
Oh, absolutely. And I thank you for bringing that up. That's a great question. In a lot of places, if you just walk into an optical that is churning out jobs day in, day out, it can be like that, where you walk in, you pick whatever, they give you whatever lens, and then you're out of there. But here, being boutique with the best materials in the world, we also want to give you the best quality in terms of lenses as well. There is a lot of factors we consider. When it comes to your prescription, we want to know what you're doing in your prescription day to day, whether you need a specialty pair or not. The material that we put you in is really important because some materials are safer than others, some materials are stronger than others, or more durable than others. There's a ton of customization sort of, up front before we even get to the picking of the frame, right? Because that's the fun part for people. So we have all that in our heads, right? When you walk in, when you're telling us what you do and who you are, and we take that into consideration, of course. Picking out the frame is definitely the more fashionable, fun side of it. And that's our favorite as well, right? We want something that fits your personality, something that is either going to, fade away if you want it to, or be bold as you are, or as bold as you want to be. And that sort of leads into me working on your lenses in the back. So I have something that we call a finishing lab, which is more rare now to have, but what I do is I actually cut the lenses into the frames that we pick out here. So the frames never leave the store, and I have the ability to again customize the needs in those lenses as much as I want to, which is a really good thing to have, especially if you get into more complicated prescriptions, which we tend to see a lot of. It happens for sure.
I know that when I go in to buy a coat and slacks, that it's never, if I just want to get it right away, I have to deal with what I get instead of going to a tailor, right, who can custom make it. And you have to take the time it takes, right? You have to get the correct measurements. And so I would imagine that's parallel to what you're offering. What is the turnaround time if somebody comes in and sees gets an exam, right? And then tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and everything goes beautifully and swimmingly, we sometimes will have glasses in a week and a half. We ask for 3 weeks. And why would we ask for 3 weeks? Because we care enough to inspect your glasses 3 times before they ever get to you. So Edgar fabricates the lenses. We have a machine called a lensometer, which is like a microscope for prescriptions. He then checks them after they're fabricated. I check them to make sure that I agree with his findings. And then the lab, before they ever send them to us, has already inspected them as well. So I had a man today that I dispensed glasses to, and he said, every single time I've had my glasses made, I've had to have them redone for some reason. And I said, well, you're not alone, my friend. There are about 87 things that can go wrong with a pair of glasses. And again, if you're new to glasses, you might not understand how taxing and trying that can be, having to go to the doctor and then maybe go back to the doctor for a recheck. Or you got your glasses, but you have to look through them like this to be able to see your best. So I said, I got you. And we made measurements twice. We cut once. We
like
made
a tailor.
Just like the tailor, like you were talking
analogy.
about. Yeah, that's great. And then we used a special lens that we knew would give him a little more room in his distance. And we also had the luxury of going outside together. He looked at his phone right here in front of us. And we made sure that we had them adjusted correctly before he left so that he felt amazing. And he truly said, this is the first time I've ever put on a new prescription and felt like I could see wonderfully the first shot. And it didn't surprise me, but it is really discouraging that sometimes you do have to have them redone. But like you said, if they're custom, then usually they work great, they fit great, you see great. But if you're just going into a kind of a volume-oriented retail store, then sometimes you get what you get. But we also tell people no sometimes, and that's really hard. Because I can say, as your stylist, I love them, the color's amazing. As your optician, your eye doesn't sit in that frame.
It's not going to work
well, and you're going to have a lot of distortion. So we really do have to pair function and fashion every time, or it just doesn't work for us to send people out into the world.
That's great. Thank you for explaining all the custom pieces and the craftsmanship. I think it's important for people to know. A couple more things before we let you go, and I want you to finish off with the community impact that you guys are a part of. I want to make sure we talk about eye health and how often for checkups. Just educate me on that.
Yeah. So really, really important to get checked up once a year, right? If you don't need prescription necessarily, you're checking the health of the eye, and that's really, really important. I myself, pretty young, I think it happened when I was 18. I had some major, eye health problems that I had to see a specialist for. So that sort of, convinced me enough to come see the eye doctor every year. So yes, every year come in. If there's anything going on, definitely reach out to a doctor. It's super important, just like the dentist, to make sure the health of the eye is up to par for sure. Yeah.
Michelle, what would you add?
Well, I was talking to a college student who's going to take a speech this year, and I shared with her that I did a speech, a persuasive speech on getting your eyes checked every year. And I shared an example. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get verklempt. I shared an example of a girl who came in. She wanted contact lenses before a dance, and our doctor found a brain tumor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. Serious.
So she didn't get her contact lenses. She went straight to the hospital. And so annual eye exams are important for vision. They're important for the health of your eyes. The old adage is the eyes are the windows to the soul, but they're the windows to your entire body. I had an eye doctor diagnose that someone was expecting. He said, "What are you doing over the weekend?" And she said, "Oh, I'm going to my husband's company party." And he said, "Well, you might not want to imbibe this weekend." And she's like, "Why?" And they had been trying for 2 years. So like, it's crazy things story like that I remember that come up that, it's sometimes you go in and it's a routine exam, and sometimes it changes your life.
Incredible. Thank you for sharing those two specific stories. I think that amplifies the need to obviously stay with those health checkups with your doc. And then you have optometrists as well on staff who come in every once in a while. And okay, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I do want to finish with, is there anything else that you'd like to educate the public on? I know you're deeply connected to the community. Thanks for your chamber membership, but just kind of give us the Witches Night Out stuff, the Faces of Hope, all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So we do love to be involved in community in many ways. A really sort of direct relationship we have is with the local Lions Club chapter. So they do a lot of work in the optical industry, in terms of charity and donations. And so our local chapter is called Envision. So they are very, very involved in the community. We love them a lot, and we've worked in different capacities with them. More recently, they had a fundraiser, and they came by and had a sort of a donation drop off for glasses. Aside from that, Michelle and I as a team have gone to places like Flock Cancer, which is that walk downtown, or that stroll downtown, of course, in support of different types of cancers, which is, of course, close to everybody, including us here at the store. So we love to be involved there. And actually, one of our guests got us involved in that the first year we were open, and we've been involved ever since then every year. So love to do that. More, closely here in proximity, the village will host a Witches Night Out, which you mentioned works with the Faces of Hope. So they work with families that have been affected by, it's the
abuse or violence.
Exactly. So that's happening actually coming up. So definitely look up, Witches Night Out. It's a really great great event for this Faces of Hope.
Yeah, and we have events here as well. We love to encourage local artists. Like I said, we think of every one of our pieces as potential art for your face. And so we love to host and celebrate local artists in our space because we feel like it's a direct tie-in. And like you said, I've been with the Chamber in Boise for about a year. Before that, I was with the Meridian Chamber for a couple years, and I do organizations that are networking like the Polka Dot Powerhouse, Breakfast Babes. There's a myriad of organizations that allow you to go and talk about your business and then network. And so we've been able to realize that as well. And like Edgar said, we both have volunteered at different capacities for the Lions Club and really appreciate our affiliations there. When we opened our doors and had our grand opening, it was really important for me to show that we are a company partner and give back. And so our owner is very passionate about youth sports. And so we were able to realize some fundraising for the YMCA youth sport program as well. And we celebrate them in the community and are involved in fun runs and things like that. And then Edgar was talking about Fought Cancer. That same guest that introduced us makes us leather eyeglass cords.
Oh, cool.
Everyone who purchases one, the proceeds go back to Bustin' Outta Boise. So we love our philanthropic and community ties as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, I want to thank you for all you do in the community. Thank you for your investment with the Chamber. Thanks for being champions of vision. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Me too. Good to see you, Paul.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Hi,
Have
friends in the
weekend.
Chamber. Thank you.